Welcome to the Middle East. People warned me not to go here. They said it's dangerous. Lebanon is not a safe place to visit at the moment. But is that really the case? That is what I, together with you, will find out today. I strongly believe that the only way to properly get to know a country is by traveling there. And I'm very happy and excited to be here in Beirut and look forward to today's walking around and exploring. And I'm also looking forward to have you, my lovely viewers, and hopefully also subscribers with me. I'm honestly surprised by how nice it looks. The streets are lined with beautiful trees. The buildings here are not too run down at all, and this looks like a beautiful city, at least this street. This is in Ashrafiyeh, which is a quite well-off area, so I guess this is one of the best parts of the city, and this is where I'm staying, so we'll see how the rest of the city looks like. If this were in Spain or France, people would be over the moon by how charming and picturesque it is, but no, it's really here in Beirut. So this is a city that so far exceeds my expectations, and I really feel like the media never shows the whole picture. As you all know, they never do, but here it's really stark contrast between what you read and see on the news at home and what you see back here on the ground, on the street. And this is just like any other big city, I'd say. I will stay 1 week in Lebanon and stay 7 nights here in Beirut and do day trips to Byblos, Sida Shouf, Beit Zedin, Baalbek, to mention a few. And it's really convenient because Lebanon is a very small country with a lot to see on a very small space. So it's easy to stay in Beirut. You don't have to move your luggage about around the country and do lovely day trips. So you really get to see the country, because Beirut is one side of Lebanon, but it's always more enjoyable, I think, to go out in the countryside. Lebanon has had its fair share of crisis and violence. There is no denying that whatsoever. However, I do believe that the worst financial crisis is averted, and the violence nowadays is only limited to certain attacks now and then, very rarely, and also limited to certain parts of the country where you, as the average tourist, will not venture into on your own. I have asked quite a few Lebanese people how is life in Lebanon and is Lebanon safe, and almost all of them said ask Israel. How is life in Lebanon? Is Lebanon safe? Ask Israel. And I believe that is true to a large extent, honestly. And also, if I would have thought that Lebanon is very dangerous and I will not get out in one piece, then I wouldn't have traveled here. I can take some risks when I travel and go to countries the average Joe would not go to, but I'm not a silly Billy that wants to get killed. No, I want to travel for many more years. But here, they have more skyscrapers here than we have in Stockholm. Lebanon is not a dangerous country, but here is something that is dangerous, and that is the traffic. That is the absolute biggest danger in Lebanon and in most countries that you're likely to travel to. I have heard that 54 people were killed in traffic accidents, reported ones, in Lebanon during the last month. And how many people were killed in bombings or terrorism? Probably far fewer than 54. But the ones killed in traffic accidents, that's not something you read about in the media, but you'll read as soon as someone is killed in an Israeli drone strike, then you'll read about it immediately. So the cars are the biggest danger. And is Lebanon dangerous? No, but this is dangerous. As soon as I crossed the big street, I came to the side of Beirut that looks just like you might imagine it. So yeah, I'll admit that there are a lot of sides to this city, and they didn't like filming, so I'll be careful. Just as I ended the last clip, I saw a big flag with you-know-who. Hello! How are you, Kifak? Good, nice to meet you. Have a good day, bye-bye. That was a friendly young fellow. But just as I finished the last clip, I saw a large flag for a certain organization that you might know from here, that starts with an H. And you should not film in these, like, their streets. But this is still central Beirut, so I didn't expect to see that here, honestly. Yeah, there are a lot of contrasts in Beirut, and the city can change rapidly. So from one block you'll see skyscrapers, and 2 steps away it looks exactly as you might imagine. But this is what's interesting. This is the side that you see in the media, and that side exists, I have to admit it. It is Friday and prayer time, so it's busy here. But for me, it's not prayer time, it is lunchtime actually. Marhaba. Hello, hello, how are you? Kifak? Yeah, very good, yes. One falafel, please.
Big or small?
Small, please. Everything on, yes. Okay. Oh, here they are being fried, the falafel, wow. The best lunch in Lebanon. Oh, I get one to try, I think, with hummus on.
This is burger with falafel.
Yes, it's number one in Beirut, I think. Well, thank you. Now let's try this one. Freshly fried just over here. This is how a falafel should be like. 5-star falafel. There, mine is done, I think. Thank you so much. How much?
احمد احكي بالانجليزي.
How much? 120. Bye bye. Thank you. Have a good. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Yes. Have a nice day.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah. See you. Bye bye. Look at this. Only cost me 120,000 Lebanese pounds, and this would be the just perfect lunch. It's safe to say, I think this is the best falafel in Beirut. It's crunchy falafel, hummus, vegetables, and freshly baked bread. And I had one falafel every day here in Lebanon, as I should, so I know what I'm talking about. Scrumptious. Stuff me in a roll and call me a falafel, because this is just wonderful. Now I have crossed under the big motorway and are in the downtown area, heading down toward the ocean. So if you stay in the downtown area, then you will not have any encounters of the H, as I had a brief one there, as we saw with the flag, and where I were not supposed to film. So stay in the central parts and Beirut feels like any other city, and you will have no problems whatsoever. It is Friday, as I said, and they have put the big prayer on the loudspeaker, so you can hear it whether you want to hear it or not. But for those just passing by and are interested, it's good. I don't know what they are saying, so they can say anything. More falafel to the people, that's what they are saying, I think. I have reached the most central part of Beirut. I love Beirut, yeah, well, why not? At least Lebanon. Lebanon is a beautiful country. Beirut is maybe not a beautiful city. It has its wonderful parts, but as a whole, I wouldn't say that it's a gorgeous city, no. But Lebanon is a great country as a whole, definitely. And let's explore the most central and fancy part. I think a lot of the stores here. Okay. Why can't I film here? Like, that's ridiculous. I go this way. That's honestly silly. And that wasn't even a police, that was just a plain security guard. So I go out here and like, what on earth is going on here? I have filmed a lot in the downtown outside the parliament, and the military didn't say a word, but this security guard, I guess, wanted to think he was important. And I will continue my day. You can tell that there are people in Lebanon that has a lot of money, different high-end brands and expensive cafes and restaurants. And I even saw the other day a Tesla Cybertruck, my first Cybertruck ever, and I did not expect to see one in Lebanon. So yeah, there are a lot of people with a lot of money and some people with very little money, barely any. So that's something to be aware of, that it is a country with huge inequality and huge economical differences. Let me know in the comment section below if you knew that Beirut also looked like this. I didn't know Beirut looked like this before I traveled here, so that's why I'm extra happy that I went, because I got to see a side of this country that, you know, are never shown in the Western media. And even though this city has a lot of contrast, and if you walk 15 minutes from here, you'll see children digging in the bins, whilst posh people here are sitting enjoying $10 lattes. So that's something to keep in mind, that, well, this city has a lot of contrasts and a lot of poverty also. If I sent you a photo of this, where would you think it was taken? Maybe in Dubai Marina, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Baku, or perhaps Monaco? But no, it is actually in Beirut, Lebanon. Zaytuna Bay right behind me, that looks exactly like Dubai Marina, I think. Wow! This is why it's so important to travel and get to see the world with your own two eyes and see the world and different cities for yourself, because this is what you never see in the media. I'm just gobsmacked by this. This is beautiful. Zaytuna Bay, take a bow. This is just fantastic. I love a good skyscraper and a luxury yacht. I'd love to have one, but until then I guess I have to use my own 2 feet and not the fancy yacht as my mode of transport. But I'm happy like this, and inshallah one day I will have a luxury yacht here in Beirut. We'll see about that, but you can do your part and subscribing and liking, and I am on the right track for one of these beautiful beasts. Hope you go visit here and see for yourself what it's really like, because when you open the newspaper you don't get to see what Beirut is really like. But when you travel here, then you will get to see what it's really like. To answer the question in the title, is Lebanon safe to visit in 2025? Yes, I do believe that Lebanon is safe to visit in 2025. Just stay out of some areas like the southern suburbs of Beirut and the south part of the country. Rest of the country, central Beirut, the coastal cities up north, the central parts of the country are all fine. You can visit them freely on your own without any issues. In the eastern part, in the Bekaa Valley, having a guide might be advisable, but I say Lebanon is safe to visit, and just because some areas may include some danger, that does not mean that the whole of the country is dangerous. That is not the case here. Some foreign offices, including the US and the Australian one, advise against all travel to the whole of Lebanon, which I think is absolutely clueless. If you advise against all travel to the whole country, then you have no idea what you're talking about, and I doubt that you have ever been here. However, as a traveler you should be aware of the FO's advice, and if you decide to travel against their advice, your own responsibility is even bigger and your regular travel insurance might be invalid, so that's something to keep in mind. But I suggest you go anyway and see it for yourself. I would happily travel back here with my parents, honestly, and I wouldn't say that if I thought it was dangerous. So yeah, Mom and Dad, are you down for a Lebanese exciting vacation in a year or so? That would be an absolutely fabulous experience, I am sure of it. This is Beirut Souk, one of the most modern and central parts of the city where you can do your high-end shopping, have your high-end cafe, and just feel posh and fancy while you are showing off your freshly purchased handbag, and I think some people are. But it's definitely not a traditional Middle Eastern souk, it's more like a high-end mall, and now it is Friday, so it's not a weekend, so I guess that's why it's quite quiet. But if you want to do your luxury shopping, then you know where to go. I am approaching Place des Etoiles, and this is the absolute center part of the city, but here is where you notice that Beirut is not like every other city. It is very quiet, and military is patrolling all entrance to the square, and it's also completely deserted. All the stores are either vandalized or just empty, so the parliament is very close to here, and whenever there's a big protest it is obviously around the parliament, so I guess that is why many of the store owners have decided that, well, my store was vandalized once, I will not open again. So it's very sad to see, and it really shows that Beirut and Lebanon has problems to solve before this is a #1 tourist destination in the Mediterranean. But they are on the right track, and hopefully in 5 to 10 years this will be a booming city and country once again. But as of now they still have issues. Look at the poor Häagen-Dazs shop, just completely vandalized, and it's just left here, and yeah, this sort of behavior is unexcusable. I understand people might want to protest, but what we saw behind me is just ridiculously unacceptable, and people need to do better. Place des Etoiles with a big clock and beautiful French architecture, and apart from the stores being absolutely shut, the buildings in general are well maintained. When you look away from the burnt out stores, you'll have a great view, wow, over first the church to the right and then the beautiful Muhammad Al-Amin Masjid here, built in 2008. Wow, and some Roman ruins in the garden down there. So this really goes to show that Lebanon is a very richly diverse country, religious-wise. It is not a Muslim country, it's not a Christian country. It has both Sunnis, Shias, Alawites, Druze, and also 18 different Christian groups, which is very interesting. And what makes Lebanon so interesting, the huge religious variety. So 1 or 2 churches there, the big mosque, and another church. So if the different religions can continue to live in peace, this country has a bright future. Not every city has Roman pillars in the middle of the city center, so this is a gorgeous view, and you can tell that Lebanon has a very rich and long history going back thousands of years. I am here at the Martyrs Square, and next to me is the Muhammad Al-Amin Masjid. I think I am unable to enter because today is a Friday. Very fun, enjoyable day in the capital of Lebanon, a city full of life for the most part, interesting experiences that you are unlikely to find anywhere else. I am very happy to be here. Please stay subscribed and like this video because there will be one more vlog coming from Lebanon, so stay tuned for that. See you in the next video, and until then, happy travels!